So, very good morning, everyone. Director, sir, can we start the meeting now?
Yes, Arun, you can start.
Thank you very much, sir. Awab, sir?
Yes, sir, all ears.
Thank you. So, very good morning to our dear students and the future entrepreneurs. So, we are here to discuss and to get an idea about how to start and how to convert our innovative ideas into the final product. Because for each and every one, sometimes some small ideas will get converted into excellent output, and the total professional of that person may get converted overnight. It may change to different professional. So with this note, we are having a successful entrepreneur, and also this person started his career as a teacher, and then he started his career. He worked along with students, and he started identifying what is the current need of students, and he himself converted into a successful entrepreneur. So today we are welcoming you, Mr. Awab, and he is the director of the Student Alliance. And now I request our Honorable Director, Dr. Abdul Razak Punutagi, to give opening remark for today's session.
Yeah, good morning to all. Organizers, controllers, coordinators of Institutions Innovation Council, and members, all students who are dreaming to be on their own in terms of startup or entrepreneurial journey. So I welcome you to this valuable value-adding program, which is being delivered by Professor Awab Fakih. And most of the students know him, and he is very student-friendly, a very innovative person whom we had as our faculty members. But even after, for his own, in order to set up himself as a, to develop, to nurture his own venture. So he notionally he got disconnected from our campus, but in a way, he's always connected for the benefit of students. So I welcome Professor Awab Fakih for today's program. And I also tell you that any event, any program which is being hosted under the auspices of Institutions Innovation Council is a program which is being planned as per the calendar activities of MHRD, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Innovation Council. So this is a center, this is a council which is constituted under the directives of Government of India. And through IIC, if we attend so many programs, if we are able to conduct certain set of programs as per the annual calendar, which we did last year, and we could achieve reasonably better. But this time target is to make it further better so that we get at least 4 star, which is maximum number of stars can be granted by Government of India in the form of certificate and recognition for private institutions, whereas 5 stars can go to government and government aided institutions. So we had a meeting in detail.
Group icon देखे थे उन्हें group teams.
Please mute your audio, those who are attending. So we had a detailed discussion, and all members and coordinators of IIC headed by Dr. Firoz Khan, they already have planned, and they have ensured that okay, they will try to reach the target of getting 4 star. So that is one aspect, that is one recognition that institute gets. But in the course of time, the events, webinars, workshops, whatever we organize, field visits, whatever, which is being a part of this journey. So that will be totally those programs which will add a lot of value for the students. Therefore, I appeal all the students to make a promote publicity, and whenever any program is organized under the auspices of IIC, please take the lead and attend, and you will get definitely benefited. For example, in the afternoon, we have got one more session by one of the, a very interesting, entrepreneur, and he is sharing his story, my story, my own way. That kind of program is there at 3 o'clock also. But this is how we started for today's morning. So I welcome you all, and we wish to see that our students, instead of depending on jobs, so why not they become job creators? Why not they become those people, those having strong will and determination, who can set up their own startup? And we are also planning to create something like you observe that Shark Tank. So that kind of funding opportunities through our management, through some donors, we would like to call them, and you may present your ideas, and you may get funded through them. That is also in pipeline. So therefore, I wish you always dream to be not working for someone, but to see that you provide job opportunities for many. So that is what the prime objective of all our endeavors, and IIC is meant for that. And this is one unit under our institute's incubation center, incubation development center. So there are also a lot of avenues, and you can take lead along with your faculty members to set up your startup. You can incubate your ideas. All that is possible. So with this opening remark, I leave everything to be told in detail by Professor Awab Fakih today, and I welcome you once again to this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful opening remark. And this remarks always starts with the positive energy, and we gained that positive energy today. As a tradition of our Anjuman Islam, so before we enter into the detailed program of today's event, I request Mr. Anas to recite some few words of Quran.
Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wadduha wal-layli idha saja. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى وَلَسَوْفَ يُؤْتِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anas. And your voice is energetic and it spiritually motivate us to proceed our today's evening.
Thank you, sir.
So so it is my privilege to introduce today's the successful entrepreneur from our campus who molded himself during the period of his tenure in our campus. And I'm now in a confused state whether I have to give it from my end or it has to be provided, the information provided by today's speaker. So I will mix that way of introduction for today, so that I don't want to go with what is there in his profile instead of what I felt during the tenure in our AIKTC. So this person is always a motivation factor for the entire students of Anjuman Islam, maybe from engineering or maybe from pharmacy or maybe from any other sector. Such an energetic person who always spread the energy like anything to all whoever he meets. And he started his career as a teacher, and where he involved in n number of student projects, and many of his student projects are successful and he gained valuable remark wherever he went. The student got succeeded and they got recognized with their work, and then he started molding his advantage factor, that is the way of communication. The person who communicates and makes the opponent to convince. So he has the powerful blessings from Almighty that whatever he convinced or whatever you want to communicate, that will convince the student as well as the opponent without any second opinion. So currently he is working as a director of his own firm, that is a Student Alliance, and also he is a part of Government of India as a mentor to train the students of the startup, those who are planning to start up. And also he involved in providing more number of webinars, and he involved in providing information to students as well as faculty. And there are more things to say, but I just want to conclude my remark that students, please take input from him, and he will definitely clear your doubt regarding what are the ideas can be converted into final product. Any ideas can be converted into final product. So he will help you to identify what are the ideas which can be converted. And more than that, he is going to be a person who is going to provide information regarding how to manage the financial condition also, where to get inputs and how to invest, what would be the risk to be avoided. So I request the students of Anjuman Islam, particularly from engineering, pharmacy, and students of final year, and we are having some alumni of our School of Pharmacy also, I can able to see them. So everyone, I request them to get proper input from him and highly involved with interactions. So I request you, over to you, Professor Awab, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Is my screen visible to you, Arun sir?
Yes, sir. No, screen is not visible.
No. Basically, I don't have any PPT for this session because I wanted to interact it. As Director sir said, there is someone speaker in the second half too. He'll be sharing his own journey. The similar kind of pattern I had it for today. So, is my video visible, or should I need to?
No, sir. Your video is visible and clear.
And thank you so much. It's been always pleasure interacting with students of AIKTC. I'll start with few of the points. the plus point what we have already with us. The major thing what every students fight in every campus is that a nurturing place. So first of all, like that part is everything we are very blessed to have in our campus. Before this IIC, what the AICT through Ministry of Education, what is it has been ventured into, we already had a incubation cell in our campus, which is like at the entry spot of a campus, which we are very blessed for. Alhamdulillah. I'll talk about what mistakes I did in my journey. Moreover, what I achieved. So that will really help you in your coming ways for it. I started my journey as an educator because I was really involved into teaching. So my favorite subject was mathematics. So in first year, I stood second in my institute. So I got a pick. Why not go into teaching? My family wasn't so supportive in respect to when you talk about in teaching, because they wanted me to go for my masters and abroad and so on and so forth. But I started teaching when I was in second year of my engineering. I started teaching for 25 rupees per hour at that time. Not so like Alhamdulillah, Allah had blessed with basic needs, what is required for a person, Alhamdulillah. But I wanted to explore that segment too. And for you won't believe, like I started teaching for the continuously 3 years, in second year, third year, fourth year. So that is where I got a kick for it. Let's venture into this segment. So I started with 2011, the time like I did my engineering from Xavier's. So there was a Christian Minority Institute which came for a campus placement to our institute at that time. So there was a fourth institute, Christian Minority Institute, which was coming up in at the end of Western Line. So it was even beyond Virar. It was in Palghar. So at that time, like they had come for the campus placement and so on and so forth. But luckily, by Allah's grace, 2 people got selected from the campus, and I got a teaching job over there. And that is the time I got a place where I started growing my skills, and that is the time I felt, let's venture into this. So that was my first step into education segment. I always wanted to have my own setup. So in 2012, when I finished my I completed my one year of my teaching. So I thought, okay, let's explore more, because when I ventured into it, I thought, the graduation is not enough. You need to have few more skills, because you're interacting with the graduate students. You need to have more skills for it, right? So I planned for my master's, but at the same time, I didn't want to leave my job. So I applied to AIKTC, and Alhamdulillah, Burhan Saab and Dr. Razak sir, they gave me a chance to prove myself. I will always be very, very grateful to Anjuman Islam, to AIKTC, to Burhan Saab, to Razak sir for my department. So got a chance. So they gave me, like for first year, they gave me flexibility so that I can teach. And at 2 o'clock, I had to run for my master's. So that was in Vadala. So I had my college hours like from 4 to 8:30. So that is the way I started with it. So during that time, I got many of the opportunities to as a freelancer, or so on and so forth. So since my plus point was mathematics, so I started working as after this thing 8 o'clock. I used to teach mathematics. So like 3 years, I started doing that. So at a particular time, I felt there is a limit for this. If I keep doing as a freelancer, if I keep teaching and keep teaching students, there will always be a limit. So I wanted to expand. I wanted to grow in different domains. Why not in different cities? Why not in different states? Why I cannot have my presence in different states? So in 15 in mid of 15, we started into why not develop labs where students can come and learn, because that is a time where we felt we have a very monotonous way of education. So I was very privileged to visit Singapore, in Malaysia. So in Singapore, they had that kind of STEM lab. STEM is something like abbreviation of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Like how we have labs over here, we have computer labs, the pharmacy would be having biotech lab, and so on and so forth, right? So similarly, their schools are having STEM labs. So STEM as in where they go, they make their projects and they do have a practical base of learning. What the national education policy is saying right away, they are doing it from 2002 already. So that is the kick. We got it from Singapore. And then we bought the same thing over here in India. And trust me, initial 6 months was extremely difficult as an entrepreneur, extremely difficult. Like, sir introduced me as a successful entrepreneur. I would not say me as a successful entrepreneur. My wife is a very successful entrepreneur. I'm a husband of a very successful woman. So the attitude what she owns in business, that is extremely remarkable at a different level, because she is the main pillar. She is the CEO of a company because she owns it, and that is she didn't lose the hope, because I thought, no, Leah, people won't accept it. It is very difficult over here. But because the thing is that over here we had a very monotonous way. We have 3 labs: physics, chemistry, biology. That's it. People didn't want to move beyond. They said, हमारा lectures slot बहुत fixed है, 6 घंटे 6 slots है, 7 slots है. That's it. We don't want to go beyond it. हम बच्चे को extra कितना रुकाएंगे, and so on and so forth. There were a number of difficulties. फिर वहाँ पे, like, even if management was approving it, then we had a meeting with parents कि भाई parents को convince करें कि हम एक नया curriculum include कर रहे हैं, where students will make projects, students will learn science by doing projects. Because when you learn and when you implement, that is the right way of doing it, right? If you only learn, if you don't start implementing it, that is not the right way. So that is the first kick. We got one of the schools, so we ventured into it. हमने उनको explain किया कि by this is so on so forth. ये curriculum है where students will make projects, students will learn science. When what students are learning into science, they will learn as well as implement it. And what all countries are doing it, यहाँ पे पढ़ाई में कहाँ benefit होंगी, and so on so forth. इतनी सारी सब चीज समझाने के बाद we ventured into it. So we started with one. In that year we got only one client. That's it. That was the ratio. That was so difficult. Forget of the margins, forget of everything. So it became very, very difficult. In spite of having good network, in spite of having a very good convincing power, still we got one client. That badly we did in that year. It was so difficult to venture. So, but the learnings what we got, the number of questions which was raised by the parent, the number of questions which was raised by the client, it really helped us in drafting our content for our team and for us too, how we should pitch for the second client. So that is the way you should lead ahead. For example, if you have any idea for it, because this is the reason of telling you is that because what we fail and how we improve, that is very important for you to convey. What we excel, that is not important, right? So because in this segment, then what I wanted to portray to you is that if you have any idea, if you're working on any startup, at least in first year, have a trial for 5 to 10. That's it. Whatever your product cost, whatever your product size is. For example, in our case, the product size, the costing was a little higher, right? It was a 7-figure. So in that case, it took huge time for it, right? If you have a product which is of 3-figure, which is a 4-figure, right? So the number of entities, like for example, the trials should increase. So it can be 30 to 40, it can be 50, it can be 500, so on and so forth. So that is the way you should start with it. Because don't go aggressively into the market. Initially, you have to wait for the feedback. That is extremely important, because that will help you in the next batch. So this is the first step. You have to deal with it. Forget about this thing, getting a funding. That is completely different segment. Before getting a funding, you have to have a user experience. Because in India, there are because of startup boom, there are a number of startups who are coming up as of now. Without a customer feedback, it is very difficult. Unless until you are doing it extremely good, your idea is very innovative. Either ways, you can be attached to an incubation center, like how we have in Kalsikar and so on and so forth, with Kalsikar, along with Government of India. So where you can get funding you can make sure that you can make your prototype,
and you can have a customer feedback for it. So that is the first step. You have to deal with it. Even if you feel it's okay, but you have to list it down. Okay, what was the do's and what was the don'ts for it? What was positive and what was extremely negative, and what was the average intermediate feedbacks what we got, and how we can make it to an excellent version. So this is the phase you have to be very, very careful for it. So we ventured into 2016 with only with one client and so on and so forth. But we made sure we should give an extremely good service to our client, because their testimonials would have impacted some other clients too. So that we were very, 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 very clear about it. So we really focus on the testimonials for every students, for the parents. Our team went to the houses there to get the feedbacks, to the teachers, to the management and everything. So for that one client, we took almost 53 testimonials. And that 53 testimonials led us to almost more than 21 clients in second year. So that was a jump from 1 to 21. Because no matter आप अपने प्रोडक्ट को कितना भी अच्छा बताओ, कितना भी बेहतरीन बताओ, भाई हमारा प्रोडक्ट ये कर सकता है, we are so good, we are this, we are that, हमारा qualification ये है, it doesn't matter. Who have used your product and what is their feedback, that is really very important, really very important. And since you are already into the campus, और हमारा campus इतना बड़ा है, आपको मार्केट में जाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. सबसे बड़ी बात, you already having 5,000 people in campus, 5,000 user experience मिल सकता है. अगर आपका सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोडक्ट हो, हार्डवेयर प्रोडक्ट हो, तो you don't need that so huge user experience as of now, because of the prototype. You won't be making 5,000 prototype initially, but that is an advantage of staying in a campus. When you go into the market, people pay to get user experience. People pay to a third party consultancy firm कि भाई ठीक है, get us user experience, भाई हमारे crowd को pull कीजिए आप यहाँ पे, उनको इस्तेमाल करने लगाइए, and so on so forth. It's so difficult. And when you are into the campus, so easy. Speak to HOD, speak to your teachers, give a proposal to director, sir. Things become so easy because you get 5,000 people at a stretch. And you don't know the power of your teachers. Like they can give you, if you talk about your alumni, they can spread to more. Even if you want 10,000 user experience, you will still get it if you are in campus. So that is an advantage, because over here you will get it ki what exactly it is working and what is not working before you pitch it. So then that is the way we mold it out. फिर हमने 15 में what we did, 15 में हमने एक जो curriculum बनाया था, and what curriculum we made in 2016, that was very, very different. And this is the way हमने इसको धीरे धीरे हमने इसको step by step. And सबसे बड़ा जो hit सबको आया, and that is the way जो hit आया, वो COVID आया into education segment. And trust me, it went into reverse. जो भी lab setups किया, जो भी curriculum setup what our company did, like it was utilized in the bestest way. Since we have from start we had both the part. We had hardware, we had coding, we had mathematics ka part, everything it was there. So during the lockdown, even when the schools were not running it, the labs which were already developed, the teachers which were already trained by the company, it was utilized in the best and the finest manner by using an online platform, which was Zoom. Because they were already trained to teach online well in advance from 2015 itself. Because at that time, what they used to do it, they should record lecture, okay, and they should put that on the YouTube channel. That is what we used to do in 2015. So they were already very, very confident in recording sessions. And that really helped them in lockdown too. And by grace of God, like till date, we have catered 466 schools in 11 states as of now. So we started with one, which was very difficult, and so on and so forth. Things were difficult, things became easy, things were like where we learned a lot. Like when I say we have completed 466 project, trust me, we might have applied to more than like 3,000 plus schools, minimum at worst scenario. Via mailers, via Zoom meetings initially in last 2 months, it would be more than that. But on a personal one-to-one visit, our team has visited more than 3,000 schools. So that is the ratio you get it after the conversion rate. Nowadays, when you talk about like this thing, innovation, अब यहाँ पे innovation people take in a different way, right? कि नहीं हमें something कुछ अलग ही बनाना है. You should go vice versa. जो हमारा experience रहा है, जो हमारी team का experience रहा है, user experience लीजिए आप. User experience से भाई वहाँ पे problem statements क्या क्या आ रहे हैं, उसको आप try कीजिए innovation. You don't go on by innovating something new for it. Go to vice versa. Ultimately, who is paying for you, right? That is very important. अगर आपकी कोई भी चीज कितनी भी अच्छी बना ले, अगर वो इस्तेमाल नहीं होने वाली है तो उसका मतलब नहीं है. And second thing, when you're talking about when you're starting up your own company, you have to be very clear कि आपका audience market क्या होगा. That is very important. कि आपका audience market, it will be very niche, or it will be intermediate, or it will be a very tier 2, tier 3 cities or villages. That have to be very, very clear. जब आपको ऑडियंस मार्केट क्लियर रहता है तो यू स्केल डाउन टू व्हाट इज द क्वांटिटी एंड व्हाट इज द प्राइस फिगर यू विल बी स्टेकिंग इट अप. दैट इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आपको सच में मार्केट लेके जाना, दैट इज द रीजन आई शुड ऑलवेज से टू माय स्टूडेंट्स कि आप प्रोजेक्ट मत बोला करो आपके फाइनल ईयर को, आप प्रोडक्ट बोला करो. इंसान की सोच ही इंसान को बदलती है, सिंपल एज दैट. When you start saying it product, तो आपके दिमाग में आता है yes आपको सप्लाई करना, आपको किसको देना है. There is a person who will be using it. Either it could be a mini project, either it could be a major project, whatever it is. Start saying it product and make it feel as a product. That is very important. When you venture into innovation segments, there's a term known as design thinking. Design thinking is a standard pattern where you evaluate your own ideas and you evaluate how to evaluate your own prototype. I'll share my presentation with Arul sir once I finish my session over here. Okay, so I won't go into much depth about design thinking, how things are taking up in startups, but I'll just share my presentation. You will have a rough idea about it. People who are really serious of starting their own venture or who have already started, it will really help you also. So what is the journey from your create to your ideate plan, from ideate to your prototype, from prototype to the market? So when we initially started, so we had a session, we were very, very glad to meet Ronnie Screwvala. Ronnie Screwvala is a very big name into startup industry. You might have heard about Upgrad, right? So he's a co-founder of Upgrad, and he invested into Upgrad. So when we met him, right, when we thought ki bhai, let's venture into lab segments where we can impact n number of students at n number of cities and n number of districts and n number of states. So he told us ki start with 10 labs. 3, having an extremely good curriculum, like it could be a CBC, it could be international. 3 could be a state government school. 3 could be a lower segment schools. Start with this pattern. You will get a feedback in all the directions. He said, if you want to scale, you should have a product which will impact a tier 2, not a tier 1 city. If you have a product which can impact a tier 2, it can automatically fetch your tier 1 clients too. Because in India market is very cost effective. Because over here आपको customer loyalty बहुत difficult है आपको मिलना. For example, if Parag sir and me is taking a product from XYZ website, right? If the same product is available in some other website too, right? As a lesser cost, but obvious we'll go with them. So market बहुत competitive है यहाँ पे. So that is the way it goes. Second, when you point about आपने कुछ product बना दिया, आपने create किया, ideate किया, prototype किया, आपने market में लेके गया, right? When you take it to a market, the first thing is that सबसे बहुत difficult part है जो हर एक startups गलती करती हैं. अगर if they don't know if they don't get a proper guidance, एक तो pricing के लिए. Pricing के लिए बहुत सारे startup ऐसा है कि जो अपने cost of acquisition को अपने pricing model में put up नहीं करते हैं. या तो cost of acquisition, customer acquisition जो हम लोग कहते हैं. For example, if a person is buying to a product, कि हमें उस पर efforts कितना क्या, what is the commercial spending on that to get that customer, वो हमें हमारी pricing में put up नहीं किया जाता है. So that is very, very important. For example, if we have Shad with us, we have Farzana with us. Okay, Shad and Farzana is working in one of the, if they have their own company for it. Okay, if they have a product, for example, if they have some device for it. Okay, if they want to sell it for 10 rupees. Okay, but how the 10 rupees, how they have come to that 10 rupees? What is the manufacturing cost? What is the, or either it could be a purchasing cost from the OEM. If either you manufacture, either you purchase, whatever it is. Okay, what is the cost for it? What is the acquisition cost? What is the acquisition cost for? What is the miscellaneous cost for it? And what is your net margin for it? That is the way you decide it, right? So cost of acquisition, calculate karna, that is very, very important, and it will vary from case to case. Either a person is selling an online product, either a person selling, giving a service, either a person giving an offline product, and so on and so forth. Either a person is having a company where they have a product plus service, a combination of both, where they provide a product as well as they provide a service. So it will vary from case to case, but that is really, really very important. You might have read many articles if, since there are lots of pharmacy students, but still I'm giving an example of engineering. There are, since the government is have granted almost very close to $500 million in an industry for semiconductors. So they have recently opened an application where people who are working into semiconductors, they can apply, and they're very likely to get fundings because there are very few companies, there are few startups who are working into semiconductor domains, and government is approaching towards them. Every state government, apart from central government, every state government have their own funding agencies under government. For example, if you talk about Maharashtra government, you have Maharashtra State Innovation Society. So that is still in Bombay, very close to Fort. So you have an office which is very close by. You have an office because they have a huge connect, and they can, every year they do competition, and they select 10 startups and they fund them 15 lakh rupees. Apart from giving 15 lakh rupees, they provide them solution, they provide them mentors, they provide them platform where they can also project their products to other companies, CSR funds, and so on and so forth. So this is the way the lots of opportunities are already there into the market, and you can start exploring stuff too. I'll tell you one of the idea which one of the company who had interacted with us in last 6 months back, where we have ventured as an investor too. Because lots of students do face getting government scholarship, lots of students do face in getting corporate scholarship, right? You might be very aware about the minority scholarship, what the students are getting it for 20,000, 25,000 rupees per students, right? Depending upon the eligibility and so on and so forth. But many students don't know how to apply for it and which scholarships are already there for it. There's a startup which is working on it who will support students, okay, for the complete, like only students have to fill the data, okay, and they will support students to get fundings from the government and CSR, okay, on the, because all the process, all the execution, everything, that company will do it for them. That's it. Irrespective, the fund would be from 5,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees, the corporate scholarship, and that company will charge that student only 1,500 rupees, only if they get the funding. If they don't get it, they will charge only 500 rupees for the application. So that is the business model, right? See, you see a problem, right? There's a problem where students feel difficult how to apply for it, and then every firm have the different this thing entities, like you have to start filling it up and so on and so forth. So they have made a put in such a manner that once you fill all the details, so their platform will automatically fetch the details, and they can place it onto a government website, to CSR funds, and so on and so forth, and they'll mix and match where you are eligible to apply, where you are not eligible to apply. You'll be shocked to know that even only in Maharashtra, there are 93 funding agencies for the scholarships for your fees, including the government scholarships and including the private and social CSR funds too. 93 in Maharashtra. Just imagine for the graduation segment. So that is the opportunities we have it. And that is what this company is doing it. They saw a problem and they have made a product, and students don't mind paying it because they know they only have to pay the extra 1,000 rupees only after they get the funding. And the funding doesn't go into that company. The funding directly goes to the student's account, and students will pay to the institute. Few of the government agencies feel no, they don't transfer to the student's account. One of the government agencies that they directly transfer to the institute's account. Whereas all the agencies do transfer all the money to the student's account, and then they do the transfer to the institute's account. But obvious, there are a number of documentation where the institutes is always kept in the loop that this person has applied for this and so on and so forth. And even after getting the funds, you have to get a signed letter from the institute that you got a fund and you have already paid the fees, and the fee receipt have to be uploaded. Everything is looped in. So this is kind of, you see a problem, you get, and you develop an opportunities for. So kindly look at the problem. That is very, very important. Very, very important. Either it could be a smaller, either it could be bigger. Smaller the problem, smaller the money you will make it. Bigger the problem, bigger the money you will make it. Simple as that. But start doing an R&D itself. Even if you are attached to a company, it's okay. But having an entrepreneurial mindset will really have an impact. It's very, very important. People who are working at a manager level, people who are working at a senior executive level as a vice president, either CEO, either joint managing director, what do you feel? They are not workers. They have reached that position because of having an entrepreneurial mindset, right? It's okay if you're joining a company. It's fine for it. But having an entrepreneurial mindset will help you to reach at a managerial position. That will really help you. Because when you grow higher and higher in a designation, more than the technical work what you do, the 80% is like how you execute your project with your team members. How you come, even if you fail, how you communicate. That is very important. But not to lose attitude for stuff it has to be there, irrespective. You own your company, you work for a company, whatever it is. That is very, very important. It will really help you to grow at a different scale. Still, if anyone is having their own pitch ready for it, if anyone is having they thinking they have been working for 6 months and so on and so forth, if you want to improvise your presentation pitch, if you want to pitch for an investor, if you want to revise your pitch, you can just be in touch with Arun sir. I can really help you and giving good feedback. Once I see your presentation deck, and I can then after once I feel it is perfectly fine if you can give me a presentation for 15 minutes, I'll find my time anyhow for IITC. I can give you a good feedback of what to put your points and what not to put, and what will be a positive point and what will put you in difficulty. So that is the way we can do it. And whatever you do, whenever you plan for any presentation deck, right? And whenever you plan for any project deck, make sure your documentation part is very, very clear. There are people who are working really good. They've been working for 1.5 years, but they haven't formed their own company. They haven't made any documentation. They haven't made any trademark. Okay, they haven't made any ISO certification. They haven't registered into Startup India. They haven't registered to MSME. You have to go with that. There are a number of government flexibilities which is given to startups. If you talk about startups, my dear friend, when you register for Startup India, it is completely free of cost, number one. Number two, it helps you from everything. Like for formation of the company, the formation fees is less. After once you form a company, you need to form a bank account. You get a zero balance account, where for a corporate account, if you need to pay at least a check of 50,000 rupees or 25,000 rupees, right? It's the same benefits you get at a zero balance account if you have a startup registration. So when you have a bank account, you apply for MSME. Once you apply for an MSME, if you have an MSME, if you have a Startup India registration, which we say DIPPT registration, right? So whenever you apply for a competition, whenever you apply for a funding, this certifications will really help you. And in future, if you feel, you are into a product-based industry, you want to go for a patent, you want so that you can have a uniqueness for your own company. Trust me, if the patent fee is in 100 rupees, for a startup registered company, the fee is only 20 rupees. 80% is waived off. There are n number of benefits you get it. Even if when you apply for a competition, when you apply for a funding agencies, right, this certification will really be very, very helpful to you. So the documentation part is very, very important. Apart from your product, apart from your whatever things you're working on it, make sure you simultaneously also focus on the documentation part. Any help in documentation part, you can directly get connected to me. I'll really help you. I have my team who only look after the documentation part. So they will be very, very glad to help you in any ways, whatever you need from us. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. It was a lovely interaction with you. It was not an interaction, it was a one-way communication. If you have any queries, I will be very glad to answer it one by one. Thank you so much, Arun sir.
Thank you, sir. Students, if you have any queries, you can.
Sir,
Yes, Rida.
sir, for a startup, what is the capital needed? Like there would be a certain capital that would be needed for a new startup. So what can we do about that?
Rida, it depends upon your project. What is your project or what is your product? For example, if your startup is completely software based, right? You have the complete IT instruments in your college, so you don't need any single investment, not even a single rupee. But if you're
And
trying
sir,
to
if it is not in collaboration with the university?
in collaboration, irrespective, no? If you are still into a student, you're still a campus, even if you pass out, you are an alumni of AIKTC. AIKTC will warmly accept you, right? If you want to work on something. Unless and until you are not doing an experiment, right? There won't be any cost, right? If it is completely software based. If you are doing an experiment and that is already a part of one of our laboratory, it will be still very cost effective. It will be very cheap. But if it is something beyond your laboratories, right? So that is a way you have to put in to make sure what is the outcome. So can you elaborate what is the segment you are working on it?
So in terms of research.
Tell me which segment you are working on.
Awab sir, I
capital
think, I want to add to this. There is a device they want, a dispensing device they want to go for patent and they go for marketing that. So what will be the capital it need? Because as a student they got an idea, okay, I have to go some dispensing device of medicines. So how much they need? Because they have only the design, but they don't have anything with them. But they want to design that, and then that has to be introduced into the market. And but that is a new product. That is a new product which is not available currently in market.
Is it solving any problem?
Dispensing, actually, in pharma, dispensing plays important role, right? So many time dosage miss because of the improper dispensing of that particular drug. Let's take example I am giving. So if I want to take drug at 10 o'clock, if I forget, then it's gone. So, but they are having some other design so that it has to be consumed at 10 o'clock only. It's like a reminder of it. So I can't elaborate more, but I just telling this.
Okay. Do one thing, Rida. The best way. If the design is ready, okay, Rida, go for a design patent immediately. Okay. That is only like 1,000 rupees, design patent. Okay. Once you have a design patent, with that design patent, people will immediately fund you. Either the institute will help you in connecting with entrepreneurs in Anjuman Islam who are already industrialists at a different level, mashallah. Okay. So with that document, it will really help you to generate fund from which that fund you can generate a prototype. But for that, you have to be very clear how much do you need to make that prototype. That costing is completely, you have to remove it. Go or vice versa. आप ये मत बोले कि हमें फंड कितना चाहिए. आप ये बताइए कि आपको कितना चाहिए फंड वो प्रोटोटाइप बनाने के लिए. That is very important. So if you have something which you already worked out, depending on uske basis pe you can ask for it. So that is the approach you can follow. आपने कुछ fund calculation किया है वो अगर आपको एक prototype बनाना है, what is the calculation which will be required for it?
No, they have only the idea. They just started with the idea.
Okay. Thank you, Rita, for putting it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Suhail, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sound
I need that one guidance. That means how to get that the best mode of communication to get the actual feedback. Means on reality ground. That means if we get that feedback, that product may not fail in that future. So for talking about myself, that we have designed a one cost reduction product. So how we can get that? That is a use in the construction industry. So how get that the actual feedback?
Suhail sir, could you answer me who would be the end user for it?
End user is for like interior designer. That means one who can interior design your own house, as well as the builder who are decorating that entrance lobby of your building and all this.
Okay. So the best way is that what is the client ratio? What is the user experience data you need in this segment? What is the target you are planning for it? 100 users, 200 users, 300 users?
And that means how much that person will buy this product.
For example, what is the count of feedback you feel if I get so many number of feedbacks, that is the time I will judge it ki yes, it is working fine. How many user feedback do you need? What is some calculation you would have done it, right?
Okay, so that is mostly 20 to 30 feedback. That means we will like that there is a cluster of different users. One is builder, another is end user. That means normal person, those who have.
Can you afford to give your services for free of cost to get the user experience, or you will be charging them?
No, that means sir actually कि product है जो product हम end user के लिए बना रहे हैं, that means cost बना रहे हैं. But my problem is that कि जब तक हम उनको product दिखाएंगे नहीं, then they will not see the actual feedback ना.
नहीं, understood. मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि अगर आपको user experience चाहिए, right? समझो architect को देना है आपको, so वो अगर उनका experience चाहिए तो आप वो payable रखना चाहते हो कि no, it will be non-payable.
Yeah, because it itself अगर not payable रखेंगे तो huge amount of that money we have to invest for that.
कितना एक user experience लिए आपको कितना amount लगेगा?
एक user interface में मतलब 1000 rupees के करीब में लग जाए.
1000 rupees में लगेगा. Okay. So that is the time. मतलब फिर आपने architect department से आपने कभी pitch किया आपका product?
Yes. We have already used in that market. My brother is also an architect, and he himself and doing this thing.
नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ कि हमारे ख्याल से करके आर्किटेक्ट डिपार्टमेंट को आपने पिच किया था क्या प्रोडक्ट आपने?
अभी तक उसका डिटेल स्टडी मींस कर रहा हूँ मैं कॉस्ट एनालिसिस में, सो दैट उसके बाद मैं मींस वही है मुझे कि फीडबैक लेना है मार्केट में.
आपको 25 यूजर एक्सपीरियंस अगर चाहिए ना, इट इज वेरी इजी, वेरी स्मॉल, और सब उतना इजी है कि मतलब इफ योर डिपार्टमेंट कैन कम्युनिकेट वाया द डायरेक्टर्स डेस्क टू आर्किटेक्ट डिपार्टमेंट, तो वो तो 25 मिलना मतलब दे कैन स्केल टू 50 आल्सो. अगर वो अगर एक सोशल कॉस्ट बना एक सोशल कॉस्ट का अगर इसको रूप देके where you can project कि भाई अगर उससे बेनिफिट क्या होता है सामने को, right? Where you can involve your students and architect students and ask a funding from the institute. Either some fund could be raised by the architect teams, right? वहाँ पे. So in that case वो getting 25 to 50 wouldn't be difficult. और वो 25 का 50 होगा तो अपने आप वो कॉस्ट कुछ जो 1000 है वो 950 800 तक आएगा ही आएगा ना, क्यों नहीं आएगा? 100% आएगा. ऐसा. और इसको अगर स्केल करना, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपको इसको 500 to 800 लेके आना, तो जो आर्किटेक्ट कम्युनिटी होती है, राइट, फोरम जो होता है, तो उनके जो अगर सेक्रेटरी को या अगर आप चेयरमैन को अगर मेल पुटअप करोगे तो वहां पे फायदा क्या होगा, गेटिंग इनटू दैट कम्युनिटी, वो आपको तकरीबन 500 लोग एक साथ मिल जाते हैं.
Yes.
तो ये फायदा है. So whenever you want to scale it, always target a forum. आप 1-to-1 इंडिविजुअल को टारगेट कभी मत करना, आपका बहुत टाइम जाएगा. देखो, एक आदमी को समझाने के लिए 3 चक्कर मारने पड़ेंगे सुहेल सर, राइट? ये बात आप मानते हैं? एक
Yes.
फोरम को समझाने के लिए आपको 12 चक्कर मारने पड़ेंगे. डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हो गया, समझाना हो गया, डेमो हो गया, प्रेजेंटेशन. बट वो 12 चक्कर में आपकी जो क्वांटिटी जो होगी ना, वो बहुत मल्टीप्लाई हो जाती है.
Yes. Yes.
तो उसमें खाली पेशेंस रहेगा, तो उतना पेशेंस रखना चाहिए ताकि, बट स्केलिंग वुड बी एट डिफरेंट लेवल. ये फायदा होता है.
Okay.
हमने भी कैसा किया था, जब एजुकेशन सेगमेंट में जब हम वेंचर कर रहे थे ना सुहेल सर, तो हमने कैसे किया, अलग अलग फोरम्स को हमने टैप किया, जिसमें जो एक फोरम था जिसमें प्रिंसिपल एसोसिएशन होता है, बराबर.
Okay. Yes.
एक फोरम था जो टीचर एसोसिएशन होता है. हर एक स्टेट के हमने वो टारगेट कर दिया. तो सीधा फोरम में ही हमारा प्रोडक्ट हमने पिच करना चालू किया. तो उससे फायदा क्या हो, एक साथ 1000+ स्कूल्स को एक साथ पेनिट्रेट होने का, उनको एक साथ पता चल जाने का.
Okay.
और कोई प्रोडक्ट लोग विश्वास कभी करते हैं जब उन्होंने कभी नाम सुना होगा. जब आपकी टीम कभी जाती है पिच करने के लिए, कभी नाम सुना है ना, तो बहुत जल्दी वो भरोसा कर लेते हैं. हाँ हमने सुना था, बोलिए ना आप क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं, नाम सुना है हमने. तो दैट इज अ साइकोलॉजी, उसको हमें हिट करना पड़ेगा अगर मार्केट में वेंचर करना है तो.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your guidance.
अरे प्लेजर माइंड सुहेल सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया पूछने के लिए.
I think in chat we are having one question. What piece of advice would you give to college graduates who wants to become entrepreneur?
सुमैया, बहुत सिंपल है, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने आना चाहिए. अब ये थोड़ा जैजी वर्ड हो गया, एंटरप्रेन्योर एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ, सीईओ, ये वो. एंड आज की तारीख में बहुत जैजी वर्ड है हमारे ये एज के बच्चों के लिए, या फॉर मी टू दिस एज, ठीक है. बट अगर हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो बात ही खत्म. इट इज फॉरगेट अबाउट एंटरप्रेन्योर, फॉरगेट अबाउट हैविंग योर ओन कंपनी, फॉरगेट अबाउट हैविंग योर ओन स्टार्टअप. हमें प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना आना चाहिए. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं कर पा रहे तो हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने का एटीट्यूड अगर कॉलेज टाइम से आपने ले लिया है, इट विल रियली हेल्प यू. आइदर आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बनो, आइदर if you're still attached to a company, या कंपनी के लिए आप एडवाइजरी बनो. वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने का एटीट्यूड आना चाहिए, एंड टू सिलेक्ट द प्रॉब्लम, व्हिच प्रॉब्लम यू विल बी सॉल्विंग. Thank you so much, Sumaya, for putting it up.
Any other question do you have? And today is a day for Juma, so if anyone has questions, you just drop here, or you can send us anytime. We are ready to provide, or anytime we are ready to clear your doubts. So I request Ms. Rida, the General Secretary of School of Pharmacy. Rida is available
Yes, sir.
to say vote of thanks for today's event.
It gives me an immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. My heartfelt and sincere thanks to Honorable Director Dr. Abdul Razak Khonutagi and the management of Anjuman Islam, Honorable President Dr. Zahir Qazi, Honorable General Secretary Mr. G.A.R. Sheikh, and our Honorable Executive Chairman Mr. Burhan Haris for providing all resources and support. On behalf of Anjuman Islam Africa Technical Campus, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Awab Habib Fakih, for taking out his precious time for such an insightful and valuable session. I would like to thank Professor Aru Servan, Dr. Firoz Khan, Dr. Mujib Tamboli,
Okay, thank you, Rida, for your valuable note of thanks. And the feedback form is provided in chat box. Please fill the feedback form as well as its attendance format. And now, before closing the session, I request students to turn on the videos so that we can take a screenshot of today's event. As a memory of today's event, I just request the members and others to turn on the videos. Members of IIC and students and faculties and alumni, please turn on your video. I request the council member to take screenshot of this. Yes, students, please do it first. So we have to conclude the meet, and today we have to go for prayers also. Yes, and please turn on your videos first. So once again, thank you very much to everyone, the valuable participant of today's event, and everyone, and also today's speaker, Professor Awab. And thank you for being with us. And I request students, if you have any questions, please put forward, and we are ready to answer at any moment. So thank you for being with us. I'm closing today. Officially, I'm closing today's meet.